Oh yeah, jealous. Yes, guys, and welcome back to WeAreTottenhamTV. Whereas, as always, we'll be bringing you through the next hour on the build-up to this game, all the way through to the watch-along, where the boys in studio will be bringing you to the post-match fan show. And I know midweek was a disappointment, but I hope everybody has picked themselves up and is ready to go fox hunting and enjoys a bit of fox soup, because we, I think, are ready to explode today in terms of performance. As always, to get us through, We are joined by Sean from Spurs Talk Show, Brian from Tottenham on Tour, and special appearance today from Josh from Spurs Debate TV. Shawnee, how are you keeping, my man?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. Can't wait. I honestly can't wait. I know it sounds a weird one to say this, but this is one of the fixtures of the season that I actually look forward to. It's always high scoring. Both teams usually get a goal, and it's usually fairly open. And there's, like last season, at least in one of the legs, it was an interesting finish. So, it should be a great game today. I can't wait to watch it. But before then, I can't wait to share the next hour with you, lovely people.
Exactly, my man. This is what it's all about. Every match day we are here. It doesn't matter what sort of game it is. We will always be here. Daigle, how are you keeping, my man?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm good. A lot more relaxed than I was this time last week. And thanks to the Premiership being on, this bad boy can come back. The lucky shirt is back. The streak continues. The stain will remain. And as it was just said, the Leicester game last season at their ground was quite eventful. Obviously, you and Jack and Sean doing the watch along, and I was there with Simeon and Grandpa. So yeah, that was one of the Spurs moments of my life, and let's just hope it's a more convincing performance today.
No, I hope so. I definitely don't want to be leaving it to that last minute. As exciting as it was and as great as it was to rub it in, I definitely don't think I have the nerves to handle it, to leave it that late. Josh, how are you keeping, brother?
I'm good, bruv. I'm good, man. Good to see you, boys. Big up Daigle, big up Sean and the Irish Hotspur, man. I feel like I'm in celebrity settings at the moment, man. It's like the three big hits of YouTube.
Definitely not.
We've got one in Canada, one in Ireland, one over here. I don't know where you are, Sean, but I imagine you're not far, man.
Yeah. I wouldn't go that far, though, bro. I'm not. None of us are worthy of attention or celebration. Let's be sure.
But you know what? This is what it's all about. We keep these guys, like us, who are not fortunate enough to go to the games. We taught all things Tottenham build it up for everybody at home who are unfortunate, who are not like us, who are like us, who can't go to the game. So, but look, let's get into it. Before we talk lineups, which will be out in about 20 minutes' time, I want to go around the panel and find out what exactly off each of you what we want to see from Tottenham Hotspur today after midweek's disappointment. Before we do that, guys, everyone smash a like on this stream, subscribe if you're new, and guys, feel free to get your super chats in with your talking points. We'll have a good go at them. And grab your channel memberships for the post-match fan show as well. But Sean, what are you expecting to see from Tottenham today?
A reaction. Look, I think I've been participating in a lot of the content around the community over the last sort of 5 days, 4 days, whatever it was since Tuesday. A lot of people frustrated. A lot of people, whether they're taking one side, like some level of accountability. Should we be looking for different players to be playing? Different formations? Do we have to be patient and give? There's a lot of opinions being thrown around right now, but I think everybody generally agrees that whilst the results have been, in the league at least, very promising, the performances haven't. And for me, the one thing I really want to see today is a performance, and I'd love it if it was accompanied by a good result and a 3 points as well. But I'd also like to see a few changes, mate. I'd like to see a little bit of utilization of some of the different players that aren't really getting some time. I'm sure we're going to talk about that as we go through. But yeah, so I want to see quite a lot different, if I'm honest, mate, from what we saw on Tuesday.
Yeah. Do you know what? I'm the exact same. I want to see a nice, cohesive performance. In fact, the only time I want to see high fives today is not once a player skinned 3 players and they've got a shot off and Hugo's made a world. The only time I want to see is when the ball's in the back of the Leicester net. I don't want to see any more of this buddy stuff. I want to see people being held accountable if things aren't going right. People screaming at each other, saying, look, what the fuck is going on? Questioning each other and dragging the performances out of each other today. Brian, what do you want to see, my man?
So I just want to answer first of all, I'm not going to the yard today. Basically, my wife got rushed into hospital last week and needed surgery. She's home now, so I'm being the very dutiful husband and making sure I'm here in case she needs anything. The next game I will be there is the derby against the Filth, and we'll have an extra guest in the pump-up because Rez will be with me. So that will be the time. What am I expecting from today? Well, first of all, like Sean said, a reaction. But what I want to see is a 90-minute performance. I don't want to see any of this first half where we're sloppy and then Antonio has a rocket up their arse in the second half when we come out. I want to see kind of like what we did against Fulham, where we were on top for until they scored their equaliser, we were in total control, and it was a more attacking, a more free flowing, a more consistent performance with what we were seeing last season. So That's really what I'm looking for, a decent performance, because they have been sloppy this season.
Oh.
Josh wasn't one. He said he wants to dump this question, I think, by the looks of it. No, I think he'd be back at happened at the start. But no, I think we'll all agree here, lads. Performance is the biggest thing today. Look, I've seen a lot of questions recently about the tactics. Now, my opinion on it is I'm not. I don't want to rip up the script book, the book that got us to top four. I think the tactics are fine. I think where it's breaking down, in my opinion, is actually that front three. With no matter who's been in it so far, whether it's been Kulu, Richarlison, Kane, or Son, I don't think any of them have been anywhere near their best, if I'm being brutally honest. But we do have Josh back. He does want to answer the question. Josh, I mean, what do you want to see from Tottenham today, my man? What happened there? Did you not like Ryan's answer?
No, just dodgy Wi-Fi, mate. Dodgy Wi-Fi. No, I was well. Look, what do I want to see today? I want to see a win, and I want to see Sonny score. You know, if you gave me a couple of things that I wanted from the game, obviously I want a good performance, want goals, want a clean sheet. I want, you know, Spurs to just come out the traps, you know, 100 miles per hour, none of this slow shit, waiting to build up. And I want to see us kill the game, which is what Conte has been saying in midweek, is let's kill this game. It's top versus bottom pretty much. So, you know, I don't think Tottenham have any excuses today, mate. Any slow starts, we're going to get ripped in by the fans, and the players have to perform. It's down to the players. It's all about the players today. Tactics, all of that's great. Leicester are poor. They're the poorest team in the league. They're at the bottom. Their form's crap. There are very few excuses for the players today. But I don't think Leicester are as bad as they look in the table, mate. But we'll get into that. But a goal for Sonny and a win. That's it, Dave. That's all I want.
Yeah.
If he starts.
Be nice to get a goal for Sonny. I mean, he needs to get a goal to kind of, you know, put all the speculation or the talk about him to bed. That would be absolutely brilliant. But look, I think it is important to note that Leicester still carry an attacking threat. They've dominated the majority of possession in the games they've actually played. They've just come out the wrong side of the scoreline. It's their defence and that goalkeeper that is letting them down. But we can't be naive. They will carry a goal threat today. They've got Maddison, Barnes, Iheanacho, Daka, Vardy. They also, especially that front three, they all have a point to prove as well. You know, they all want to be Leicester's main man up there. So we can't be naive to that for sure. But look, lads, the lineups will be out in about 15 minutes' time. I mean, Sean, are you expecting changes today? Or do you think Conte might actually, because we've been expecting them before, Conte more or less hasn't really changed anything?
Yeah, and I think that's some of the source of frustration. You know, obviously Conte knows best, right? None of us as fans, or at least on fan channels, think we know better. But there, you know, we are, I think, entitled to have opinions around what we want to see. And I think we haven't seen enough utilization. I don't think we've seen enough variance within what's going on there. Okay. I think we've seen enough variance, right? And one of the things I've been talking about on my channel is I think that part of the problem, part of the consequences of utilizing the same system all the time when it's been difficult to break the teams down anyway, and we haven't really. And I agree with you, by the way, that the front three haven't been firing on all cylinders or anything like it. None of the front three are anything like what they were last season. I even think that Harry Kane, I think that the amount of goals that he's scored kind of flatters to deceive a little bit and take the shine off of, or take the attention off of him. I think all four haven't really hit the ground running as they would do. But I do think there's consequences that are happening elsewhere in the team that are affecting those front four. And I do want to see changes. I think that, you know, I listened and we can go through it, I'm sure, if not now, then later on.
No, go through it. Who do you want to see? Well,
Conte's comments during the presser was basically alluding to the fact that there's a reason why we've only seen Højbjerg and Bentancur. Bissoumaa's not tactically ready, and Ollie Skip's not physically fit. There might be a reason why we haven't seen Matt Doherty, that he's not going to come back until after the international break. But we do have Jed Spence there now. But Conte doesn't even seem to give him the respect to even mention his name. So for me, if he doesn't think he's ready and Matt Doherty's not fit, I think, and I mentioned this yesterday in my Tottenham walk, I think that a more likely, and actually a scenario that I don't mind the sound of, would be to play Perisic on the right wing back today. I don't know if it's going to happen. I think that Conte might be stubborn and continue with what he's seen, but he did allude to the fact that Emerson's tired as well. So maybe there's a chance of seeing Perisic on the right. And I actually think that the indirect benefits of having him on the right-hand side are actually plentiful. Because if you were to use the other option, which was to play Decky at right wing back, then you've actually used all four of your forwards from the start of the game, right? If you've got Decky at the right wing back, Richie, Kane and Sonny, if there's a scenario where Tottenham struggle in the first half and we go in at halftime 0-0, or even worse yet, we're losing in the game, we really don't have any options on the bench because Lucas Moura's out and Brian Hill doesn't seem to get any warrant of any minutes anyway. So I don't think that Decky should be used. I think we need to, or whoever it would be the fourth person shouldn't be used. I think Perisic makes sense. And I think in so doing, it also opens up a little bit of space on the left-hand side. I've spoken about this. I'm rambling here, but I've spoken about this a lot. I do think that when Perisic is playing on the left, I do think he cramps the space available for Sonny. And you can see that by looking at the average positions of the players in certain games. So for me, I think Perisic being on the right wing back, Longley coming in at centre back is an absolute given. And then I'd like to see Decky back in the team as well. They're the three changes that I'd really like to see today.
I think it's imperative that Kulusevski comes in, but I'll give my thoughts on that in a few minutes. Brian, I mean, do you agree with Sean on the changes he wants to make? Is there any other changes potentially be looking at?
Yeah, do you know what? I would hope what I'm hoping and what I think we'll see will be two different things. I hope to see Longley in. I hope to see Skippy or Basuma in for one of the two. I want to see Kulu back. Players that needed to be rested. Emerson 100. Well, Emerson dropped. Dropped and whatever. Don't play again. Son needs a rest, and I must say, like my disclaimer, I love Sonny because you can't say anything bad about Son because you get deemed a racist or committing treason. I love Son. He just needs to have a rest. So I want to see a whole host of changes, but I just don't think we'll see them. I think he's mentioned a lot about Perisic going to the right. I think that could be a key one, and that may be the only one. I feel that may be the only one, but I really do want to see Longley.
Yeah, I think Longley's got to come in. I think there's an end to that debate now about him and Ben Davies. I think it's clear to see what Longley offers this team. Josh, same question. I mean, do you think Conte will make changes with what he said in the press conference? He spoke about maybe Skip potentially getting some minutes today, and he mentioned he gave him a good mention. Do you see any changes at all?
Do you know what, mate? I think he's going to stick to the majority of that team only because he needs a result off the base of the loss that we had in midweek. So I think he will go with his go-to players. We know Dyer is going to be where he is. Romero is going to be where he is. Left back, I would like to see Longley, just from the point of view that he's had a good start. He brings a bit more creativity. People argue that defensively he's not as strong as Ben Davies. I mean, look, he's only just joined the league, hasn't he? So this is a good test today, I mean, they're going to have a few attacks, Leicester. They do have a bit of pace. So we'll be able to see if Longley is up to scratch or not, if he's up to the pace of the league yet or not. So I think we can carry a few players today and still win because it's Leicester. They're out of form. The manager's sort of talking against the club, the players. A lot of them don't know if they're going to even be there next year. So I think this is the day where you can experiment and get away with it. So if you do put Sessegnon on the left and you do put Perisic on the right, great, do it today. Today's the day to explore and try new things. Maybe give Spence a run out for 10 minutes, but I doubt that's going to happen. But the guy's bursting to come out the scenes and show everyone what he can do, show the Spurs fans. So I think the majority of the team will be the same, but the big question mark is who's going to be right wing back. With Emerson's performance being so weak in midweek, does he back him again? He said he's tired. Is that a clue, or is that just a dig in the press? Is that a Jose Mourinho style public, mate? I've put it out there. Go and prove everyone wrong. Go and show everyone you're not tired. Go and give us a good performance. So I don't know if these are mind games or if these are clues, but we'll find out in the next 15.
Strange mind games, because he's also doing that thing with Basuma, where he's called him out twice now in 2 weeks, right, for being not tactically naive. Yep. I've always said this about Conte, world-class manager when he's making his decisions as a manager, but the stuff he says in the press, it baffles me to be honest. Like a 19-year-old in Jed Spence getting welcomed into the team, making his big move from the Championship, and then day one Conte comes out and says he's not my signing. I didn't agree with that. I don't know why you need to say that out loud. I mean, maybe he's protecting himself from and making a point about Levy, but I felt that whole thing was unnecessary. I think calling out Basuma twice for not being tactically ready is a little bit unnecessary as well.
I think also, Sean, not using the bench as much might be a sign to the board saying I'm not 100% happy because I don't believe in the players on the bench. One of them's an academy product. Well, not our academy product, but he might as well be in the academy because he's not getting any first team football. Yeah. And the other guys, he's just like, he probably doesn't really trust Lucas. I know Lucas Moore's injured and We got rid of, Brian Hill's still there. We got rid of a few, but is he saying to the board publicly, because he can't say it directly because it might not be, it might not be the said thing internally to kick off, but is he kicking off publicly? You might have a point there.
Yeah, we'll find out. We'll find out, right, as time goes on. For me, all the way back to last season, I don't like to criticize Conte because he's the best manager we've ever had. But if you're going to pick a hole in one area of his game, for me, it's his press management. I find it leaves a lot to be desired. I always have said that, so don't shoot me if you disagree.
Yeah, I'm not saying any comment on the board in case this show will go in a wildly different direction. And this is going to be the pump up, not the kick leave his arse hour. So we'll go back to you, David.
It's pump down, not pump up.
Look, I struggle to criticise Conte. I do think midweek he probably could have changed it up off the bench a bit more. For me, he's been all last season. He was calling for 5 substitutions. He was calling for, a bigger squad. I think he had options off the bench to be able to mix it up a little, even in terms of switching from a back 5 to a back 4 at some stage if needed. I struggle to understand why he didn't do that, but at the same time, he's for me, I think he's the greatest manager we've had since probably Bill Nick. So, I find it struggle to criticize him. But back to the changes, for me, I think it's imperative Kulu comes in. I think he makes Emerson look competent. For me, especially going forward, if you watch Kulu, he drops out left, also always takes the ball off Emerson, knowing that he has a weakness of putting it in, and usually puts it in himself or cuts in and has a shot. I also think Kulu links up the play very well from that back line or the midfield into the forward line. He's a big, strong guy. He holds it up. If you look at Richarlison the last couple of games, it's been flicks and tricks around the corner, whereas Kulu gets it into him, holds it up, and he either turns and runs with it, which means Kane and Son don't have to get involved in the build-up play, and they can just get into goal and scoring positions, or he can get turned on and find Sonny, where his best goals were coming from last season was actually making runs in behind. So I think Kulu has that ability to do that as well. So I do think Kulu has to come back into there, and I would actually stick with Son on the other side, and I would stick obviously Kane up front. I would like to see a change at right wing back in terms of Emerson maybe dropping out. I think I've been a big backer. The guy, I don't think he's been as bad or has deserved a lot of criticism that has been labelled at him this season. I think at times he has played well. But the performance during midweek for me was absolutely borderline disgraceful. I would like to see him come out. I would like to see Jed Spence give it a go, because if we're being honest, we can't really sit here and judge what we've done at right wing back until we see what the other option or the option that we've brought in has to offer. And I know it's a gamble. Some people will say he's not ready, cut out for it. But then, someone like me would say, well, he performed against Arsenal and Leicester in the FA Cup last season, Premier League opposition. Very, very comfortable. And the biggest one for me is obviously Clement Lenglet coming in for Ben Davies. And you've got to put an end to this silly debate. It's not even a debate anymore. Lenglet just offers so much more in terms of a passing range going forward down that left-hand side. And also, to back myself up, with Kulu Sexy, if you look over the last couple of games, a lot of our attacks were coming down the left-hand side because we couldn't get down the right with Richarlison and Emerson there. So that partnership just is not working for whatever reason. So it is more important today that Kulu plays. But I'll be honest, I think Conte will stick with Emerson. I do not see him changing it whatsoever. I think
David, just going back to what you were saying about Longley, you got to remember as well, when I say Longley, I don't necessarily mean for Ben Davies. He could easily do it for Eric Dyer, because I'm sick and tired of Eric Dyer standing eight yards behind the play with his hands tied behind his back. Going,
that's a big risk, Brian. He's not. I don't think Longley necessarily could play in this. I think there might be an argument to think that Tottenham could go back to a back 4. I'm not suggesting it's anything anytime soon. But now that we have Longley, I think you could maybe make the argument to have Longley and Romero. But Longley in the middle of a back 3, I'm not sure he's got the necessary skills in leadership. I don't think he's necessarily whilst I agree that Ben Davies looked really bad. And, I've done a hell of a lot of research on Longley in the summer. I don't necessarily subscribe to the idea of putting him in the middle of a back 3. I think that's a big risk.
No, I'm saying it's an option. That he's got. And if you're going to do it against any team, I'd rather he start experimenting against a team like Leicester, who are bereft of any confidence or they're going in the wrong direction. It clearly looks like they're not playing for the manager. And I've got my good friend Wayne Holland, who is a Leicester fan, in the chat as well. He thinks we could hit them for 6 or 7 if we play. That's how bad he's putting on with Leicester. So if there is a game that you want to experiment with Longley in the Premiership at a centre back, I'm saying this could be the one.
I don't know. Leicester have still got a really good team, though, mate. I know they're down tools, right? I think they're downing tools to get rid of Brendan Rodgers, right? So, and hopefully that will happen today. Hopefully that will continue. But generally speaking, Leicester do up their game. Last season, they upped their game to play against Tottenham. I know we ended up coming out and winning the game away from home. But that game at King Power, Leicester were on an awful run before then. And then that particular game, everyone went into that game thinking, oh, we'll smash them. But they turned it on during the game. Obviously, we came away with it in the end in a thriller. But I don't know. Leicester have got a good team, and they generally do up their game a little bit against Tottenham. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I don't necessarily agree that today is the day to experiment. Or I kind of agree that today might be the day to put Jed Spence in because he played well against Leicester. And I think Jed Spence is the sort of guy that he comes across to me as a sort of character, the personality that give him the chance. He'll grab the ball by the horns and he'll run with it, hit the ground running. And I think if today's because he's done it against Leicester last season, maybe today makes more sense than any other in the upcoming fixtures that we have.
Yeah, and this guy performed against Leicester last season in the FA Cup. You know, he can't do it. He can't do it. But yeah, guys, Josh, do you think that Conte will actually, the lineups will be out in 3 minutes' time? Do you think some will remain in the lineup? I think this is the biggest talking point today. You know, people are suggesting lineups of Kane, Richarlison, and Kulusevski. Do you think Conte has the bollocks to drop someone like Son?
Look, he said in his interview this week, like yesterday or whenever it was, really, probably not. Dyer, Romero seem to be cemented in their positions. Pierre and the pivot are cemented where they are. So I think, some of the subs would have watched that interview and gone, what are you on about, mate? Because, I'm doing it in training, but I'm not getting even a minute on the pitch. So don't drop a ball thing you have to take with a pinch of salt. It's not 100% true. But the thing with Sonny is, I think it's more not about dropping Sonny. It's more about accommodating Sonny. You've got one of the best strikers here, wingers, however you want to describe him, in the Premier League. We have to find a way to keep him in this team. I don't believe you can drop him for a temporary kind of message or relief to say to him, go away on the international break, come back a new man, and you're back in the team. You could almost tell him against Arsenal, I want you back. Go and have a timeout, think about everything and come back. Or you could back him, which is what I think he will do, and say, go away with a goal today and come back with that monkey off your back. And you're back, that all the news gossip columns are not around you anymore. 0 goals in 8 games or whatever it is, 1 assist. And I think that's what he'll do. I think he'll back him, but I think we need to back him because he's carried this club. I get that he's not playing well, but we're not playing an elite team today. So we can get away with another. Look, if he doesn't perform well today, you have to start asking whether he starts against Arsenal 100%. But for today's game against Leicester, Dave, we've got to start him. We've got to back him. My thing is the Perisic relationship with Sonny. Because what we've seen with Perisic is he cuts in and he takes a bit of that space and he delivers that dead ball, and Sonny's nowhere to be seen. We know he's not an aerial threat, and that's where Harry Kane and Richie come in. So he kind of looks like a lost headless chicken in that space. And it's whether he starts Perisic on the right, gives Cess that left, which works well with Sonny, because Cess likes to stay out wide and he doesn't necessarily, take over that space all the time. He lets Sonny have that room to make those runs. And the other thing is we're playing very wide. Whereas remember last season and the season before under Jose, we were playing very centrally, which is where Sonny likes the ball to his feet, one-on-one, pace and finish. And that's what Kane was doing. It was Kane to Son literally all of last season with Jose and a lot of last season. So I think the system doesn't suit Sonny. I don't think he's suddenly turned shit, but he is creating less and he is dribbling less. And obviously he's not scoring. So there is a problem, but I say back him on the basis that he goes away on this international break with his tail up. I think if you drop him, you're sending him away. And you know what the media's like, mate. You give them a centimetre and they'll take a yard. Do you know what I mean? So I think he'll back him just because of the Arsenal game and what we've got after the international break, which is a lot of games in a short period of time. And he'll want Sonny back with his chin up rather than his chin down.
Teams are out. Teams are out.
Share them in, Shawnee. Do you want to share them in?
And
yeah,
big news.
100%. Here we go.
It looks like there is big news. I'm surprised by it. I am surprised. For me, I would have stuck with Sonny. I'll be honest, I've done a bit of digging over the last day. The thing is, I don't necessarily subscribe to that Perisic has taken up a lot of Sonny's space. I think there is an element to it. I just think Son has been unfortunate. You look at the ball against West Ham that went across. The guy Kerrer ended up putting it into his own net. You look at he hit the bar against Fulham. He's hit the post a couple of times. He's had just as many shots as he did last season. He's just not putting them away. But guys, let's see the lineouts. Let's talk about the big news. Where is it? Why is it not coming in? Here we are. So guys, the lineups are out. It's Hugo Lloris in goals. Wow, 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 wow. Perisic at right wing back. Sanchez, Dyer and Lenglet at centre back. Session at left wing back. Bentcore and Højbjerg in midfield with Kulu, Sexy, Richarlison and Kane forming the front three. So there is a number of changes there. Sanchez basically coming in for Romero.
What's up? Sorry, mate. Sorry. Let me start again.
Sanchez basically after coming in for Romero into that lineup. Perisic moving over to the right-hand side for Emerson with Session coming in. Lenglet coming in for Ben Davies. And Son on the bench with Kulu Sexy coming in. I will read out the bench now in just 1 second, guys. Do not worry about that. My initial reactions, I'm actually quite shocked to that starting lineup. I'll be honest. I didn't expect to see as many changes. I definitely didn't expect to see Sanchez coming in for Romero. We all maybe thought Perisic moving over could have happened. I'll just give you the subs bench and then we'll start to get the panel's immediate reaction on that lineup because there is huge shocks there. On the bench, it is Fraser Forrester, Romero, Tanganga, Emerson Royale, Doherty, Skip, Bissouma, Brian Gilnessy, and Son. So look, we'll start with you, Shawnee. We'll keep them up there for the time being just to give people a look. But what are your initial thoughts? A number of changes, big surprises to this starting lineup.
Yeah, it's the 11 that I predicted on my walk yesterday. I did want to see Perisic coming in on the right, Session on the left. The back three, we got Longley in for Davies, Sanchez for Romero's massive. Sorry, but I say it wasn't the 11 I predicted. I didn't have Sanchez in there. I'm not entirely sure what's going on there. Whether he's not injured, he's on the bench. Maybe he's picked up a knock in I don't know what's going on with that one. That's mad. And if I'm entirely honest, the front three. If I made this point that if Perisic was playing on the right, I wanted to see Sonny on the left, a left wing forward. If Perisic was on the left, I would rather have seen Richarlison ahead of him and Decky on the right. But as Perisic is on the right and Richarlison's on the left, I don't know. I mean, all of it's okay with me, but the Sanchez one is wild. It's absolutely wild.
That doesn't sit up with me, especially with the technical players that Leicester have going forward. And balls that they can play in behind. That one does not sit right with me. The rest I can understand. But Daigle, I mean, what's your initial thoughts, my man? Some shocks here.
So my initial thoughts are we best call an ambulance around the studio because Rez said if Emerson isn't on the pitch, my testicles might explode. So we best get the ambulance ready to sort him out. But listen, the one with Sanchez, I totally get it. And I will be man up. Since he's come back from his injury, Romero has been very, very poor. He was a very, very weak tackle against Mitrovic, who scored the goal against Fulham. He was very poor, as was everyone else at Sporting Lisbon. Maybe he hasn't come back from that knock right. You got the international break where you know he's going to be travelling and playing for Argentina. And then it's the filth. So I get it. I'm not happy about it, but Romero has not been his best since he's come back from injury. And then we obviously talk about. Say again.
Do you not think he's much better on the ball with Sanchez? Like for me,
no, there's no doubt.
Sanchez, he's going to struggle to move that ball up to Perisic. He's going to struggle.
That's why you bring Longley on, Dave. That's why Longley's there, because Longley can do that. So now the one with Son, obviously, it's happened. It's about time. But I have to say, and I don't believe one bit that Perisic is affecting Son. I can't accept it because if you look at it, world-class players adapt their game. They don't get shit up because a world-class player has come in. When Sonny has moved up top because Kane's been injured, what does he do? He adapts his game to suit what he's doing for Kane. Perisic coming in, when you bring in world-class players, they adapt their game to suit the role and find out how it can benefit them. We've got the Golden Boot winner who is... And having him on, it's if we brought in all these big names, do they all start getting shit up because we bring in world class players like the other players? Kane gets shit up. No, I don't think Perisic has a single thing to do. It might have a bit to do with them getting their understanding. That part I can take, but not so much as it's made him so poor for the first 6 weeks of the season. I'm very excited to see Perisic and Sessegnon together. I think that's the most exciting thing to see our two progressive minded wing backs partner up with each other. That's the one for me.
Look, I agree. I agree with a lot of the changes he's made. I'll be honest. I think he shot himself in the foot here today with the Sanchez change. I hope I'm wrong. I really do. But I think the whole idea of having Romero and Langley either side of his Dyer is that they can transition the ball quickly into the front line rather than seeing things we've seen before where players having to come to 5 yards within some of these guys to pick up the ball and try and get turned. I am worried in terms of moving that ball down that right-hand side. But Josh, what's your initial thoughts?
Yeah, look, I mean, it's a squad game. It's a squad game, isn't it? So you've got to use the squad, right? You've got some internationals in there that need to get some game time. A lot of them want to be at the World Cup. Conte's got to manage egos. This is big club mentality now. You've got to rotate, and he's mentioned it this week. He will be rotating. You know, he's given the signs and the clues in the interviews when you add it all up. So he said about Emerson being tired. He's dropped. Longley, I'm sure, has been knocking on the door. Wants to get back in that French squad. He starts again. He's been good. He's been creative. I'm looking forward to his attacking outlet into Cess, into Richie. I think the left-hand side is going to have some good play down that left-hand side. The right-hand side worries me with Sanchez because he can't really on the ball. You know, we know he's not the best. But then he's compensated that by putting Perisic there. So he's balanced both sides' weaknesses with some strengths. And Perisic and Kudu down the right. I'm really looking forward to that because I think they're going to connect. And this could be the making of a new combination. This could be the mini solution that takes us forward to the January transfer window to get that right side to function better than it has been with Emerson failing. So I think there's some pluses there. On the left, Cess back in the team. I thought Cess has a good start to the season. I know he's made some mistakes here and there, but you know what? I think back him. It's Leicester, guys. We talked about experimenting. We talked about trying new things, new partnerships and combos. He's gone and done it. I think we should clap to this. We should respect this and say, well done. The Sanchez one, I don't know if that's a kick up the arse to Romero because he hasn't been himself since he came back from the injury. He started as one of the best defenders in the league and he's dropped off. So again, competition drives motivation.
Do you think maybe, Josh, do you think maybe he's just feeling like Romero's just like he's not quite back. He's not fully fit yet?
I think so. Knowing our luck, he'll go on international duty and get injured. Or he'll play a blinder. And then come back injured, you know, in training or whatever. But the thing is, guys, for me, it's Leicester, man. So, you know, whatever you put out there, you know, and Brian said it earlier, if you've got quality, you find a way, right? We've got quality, man. We've got quality. So I'm not too fussed because it's Leicester. And this gives us something to look forward to over the international break and analyse because this 90 minutes will give us clues into different combos and partnerships, which we haven't had this season. So from that point of view, I think it's going to be a good lesson for everyone to learn. And let's hope we come out on the right side and we're all singing and dancing about Perisic smashing it down the right as well as the left.
I think Sanchez getting a goal.
Let me just very quickly add this thing with Son, like I mentioned on your channel, David, when we spoke earlier. Son coming off the bench. Now, people are saying, give him this game, he might get it. Like we've been saying every other game, don't worry, next game he'll come good, next game he'll come good, next game he'll come good. Would you rather have 65 minutes or however many minutes of him on the pitch where, again, he doesn't score or provide much and he goes off again and everyone's talking about him? Or he comes on with 25 minutes to go or whenever it may be, Leicester tiring, scores one or two, changes the game, and he comes off the pitch and everyone is, yes, Sonny's back. I think Conte is taking the sting out of the towel to say, right, listen, you haven't been performing. We've given you the time to try and get the goals and get the game. And it's just not working. And rather you coming off downhearted, upset, you've been substituted, upset with your performance, why don't you just hang back? We'll see what Leicester are doing. And in the dying stages or last 25 minutes, you come on, tear it up, get 2 goals or whatever it may be, a couple of assists, and then you come off and the whole thing changes. The pendulum swings the other way and you get a happy Son, a rejuvenated Son, a more excited and confident Son. I think it's a wise move.
Dave, did you want to have a quick look at the Leicester team just whilst you're there?
Just 1 second. Scorpions fan for life says, is Spence on the bench, not even in the squad? And we will talk about that in a few minutes. I mean, I'm surprised that he's not in the squad. I thought, look, with Perisic moving out the right wing back, if left wing back isn't working out, you could have put him back over there and brought on Spence just to see what he can have to offer. But no, Spence is not in the squad, my man. Very well spotted. For me, look, I back the changes. I back him making changes. And I think I agree with Josh and the rest of you guys. I think Perisic and Kulu down that right-hand side would be absolutely watch. I think you're going to see some absolute balling out happen down that side today. My only fear is how far does Perisic have to drop back to pick up the ball? I do worry about Sanchez on the ball. I think defensively, he's been okay this season. He's done a job. But my worry is on the ball, getting it all down to Perisic and Kulu. I think Langley coming in is a huge plus. If you're dropping out Romero, Brian's right, bringing in Langley as a ball-playing defender. It's a good option. How will Session and Richarlison get on down that left-hand side? That'll be interesting to see how that happens. Field, I'm happy with the same. Kane retained his place. Son coming off the bench. Look, I think Son will score today, regardless whether he starts or whether he comes off the bench. Leicester's backline is that poor. But look, here is the Leicester lineups. We've got Ward in goals. It's absolutely atrocious. We've got Justin Evans, the new signing Fayez, Castagna forming the backline. So he's gone with a back four with Ndidi, Tielemans, Dewsbury Hall in the midfield, with Maddison, Barnes, and Daka forming their front three. So he's gone with a 4-3-3 with Iverson, Marty, Thomas, Samare, Prayet, Albright, and Perez, Iheanacho, and Vardy on the bench. I mean, Sean, anything you want to say on the Leicester lineup?
So who you say?
Oh, Sean, I think he's frozen. I think Sean's frozen. Oh, he's back.
I can certainly go. I mean,
we'll get Sean back.
There's two players I absolutely love on the Leicester squad, and that's Dewsbury Hall and Harvey Barnes. Harvey Barnes, for me, I would love him at Spurs. He is just pure quality. Obviously, Maddison's there. I like Justin, the wing back, but they have Harvey Barnes and Dewsbury Hall are the two to watch now. They like to play open, attacking football. We all know that, as Brendan Rodgers' team do. But they've lost their spark. You can see in their performances, they perform well, but if they go a couple goals down, like they did against Brighton, look at their heads just drop. It's vital that we come out like we did against Fulham and have this fast start and don't stop for the first 45, because if we do our drop-in for 35 minutes or so, they can cause havoc. Very happy to see Jamie Vardy's not on the pitch as well. Always finds a goal against us, always.
Patson Daka scored against us last season when he was at home as well, when you had the King Power, when you were there, Brian. So, he definitely has a goal in him as well. Shawnee's back. Shawnee, what's your thoughts on the Leicester lineup? Do you think three in midfield is a concern up against R2 today?
Yeah, I do. I don't actually. I feel like today, I think the team is going to be more than capable enough to handle this. But I do. I think that they've got a goal in them with that team. It's very attacking. The three that they've got in midfield, they're more 8s than 6s. And you've got Maddison, Barnes, Daka. They do have options on the bench, Iheanacho, and I don't think Vardy's even fit. So I mean, he's maybe just be there, making up the numbers. But I think it's going to be a brilliant game. I think it's going to be an exciting end-to-end game. Listen, the only thing I would say is, with Maddison and Barnes and Daka, I think Daka plays off the left-hand side. It's going to be interesting to see how his trickery can handle, or how Sanchez can handle his trickery. And I was liking what you were saying, Dave, about the concept of, what's going to happen with Perisic moving forward if he has to come back to receive the ball on short notice from Sanchez, because Sanchez can't reach him. But I do like the idea of Longley coming in. Longley can ping those sort of 45-yard balls from the left side all the way across to the right, and then you've got Perisic and Decky up against. I think it'll be facing Castagna, won't it? So I think it's going to be a fascinating battle today. I do think there's going to be a lot of goals. If you're a betting man, and I am, bet more than 3.5 goals. I think I think there'll be 4 goals or more in the game. So 3.5 goals will be the over/under, and I'll take the over all day long.
No, I think there's going to be a crazy amount of goals. If you look at Leicester, they conceded 16 goals so far this season. 11 of them goals have come on the road. Only Bournemouth have conceded more goals. We do shit goals as well. So for me, I think there's definitely going to be goals. There's always been goals. I mean, we slapped them 3-1 at home last year and 3-2 down in their place. You know, there's going to be a lot of goals in today's game. It's just hopefully we score more. But I mean, Josh, I mean, what's your thoughts now? We're about 15 minutes from kickoff. You know, you've seen the lineups. You kind of can get a guess of, you know, what way both teams are lining up. What's your thoughts now? Where do you think this game will be won and lost today?
What is it? A 4-4-2, is it?
So Leicester have gone with a 4-3-3 and Spurs have gone with their usual formation.
All right, 4-3-3. So I just think, off Sean's point, Sanchez needs to be careful of the pace in and around him, and Dyer, as to Brian's point, needs to be on his toes, not on his heels. So those two are going to be the weaknesses that Leicester will want to target. I think Longley has the experience and the know-how to have a good performance, but I worry about Sanchez and the right-hand side. I worry about Perisic being caught up with Kulu because he's more of an attacking-minded player than he's defensive. And that will leave a space in that right wing-back area, which Emerson otherwise would have been there to defend. But I think this will be one of those where we score more and we win. I don't think we'll keep a clean sheet because of those two at the back, Lauren and Hardy at the back. But, you know, we've got enough in the front end of the pitch, top-heavy end of the pitch, to outscore and go up against Leicester's defence. And with Ward in goal, Kane's going to be looking at that. And hopefully, you know, he'll have a few attempts on goal. Leicester's his favourite club. So I think nothing to worry about is how we come out the traps. And are Leicester going to sit back and counter, or are they going to open up and have a football match? I think they'll sit back and counter, and they've got the pace to do it. And Maddison in the middle to dictate.
I think they've been instructed to sit back and counter, but I'll be honest, I think Leicester squad, I think they're not happy with Rodgers. Rodgers isn't happy with his squad with the international break on the horizon and it being an away game, and they won't have to hear about it for a few weeks. I do think that Leicester may be playing to get Brendan Rodgers sacked, and it's the perfect time because it gives the club the international break to be able to roll the dice and get something in place. But I agree. I think we should be concerned maybe at times with Perisic being caught up alongside Kulu because he's very attack-minded. I think that's a very, very good point you make there. I mean, Sean, looking at everything now, where do you think the game's going to be won and lost in your opinion? I think Josh gave a brilliant breakdown there.
Yeah, 100%. I think I 100% agree with what Josh was saying. I think this is won and lost today down our right-hand side. If Perisic and Decky can create and can find some sort of synergies and chemistry early in the game, I think we can get a lot of creativity down that side. But I do worry, like Josh says, that if Perisic is caught up, which he has been known to do, you know, on the left-hand side, he gets a little bit too far forward and gets left out and then leaves. And then, you know, with Davies left behind him. Today, I'm not so worried about the left-hand side with Sessegnon and Longley. I think they can do a job defensively and they can participate going forward, and hopefully Rishi can support them. But on the right-hand side, if we get broken down, if we lose the ball when we're not first to the breakdown, then I worry if Sanchez is left isolated down the right-hand side and Perisic is 10 yards too far forward, then I do think you'll find that Daka and Barnes, whoever it is on the left-hand side, I think it's Daka that will be on the left-hand side, but if it is him on the left-hand side, then Sanchez could be in some trouble. So I completely agree with what Josh has said. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. Both teams will score. And it's just a case of who wins the battle down the right-hand side for me. I think Tottenham have got enough in it to get the 3 points.
Yeah, I definitely think we do. And Brian, yourself, I mean, what's your thoughts now? You've seen the starting lineups, the formations, everything else.
Yeah, I'm actually very excited about it. Like I said, it's going to be good to see Sessegnon and Perisic and how they operate. I think it's going to be good to see how Perisic runs on the right. We know when he's done his crosses on the left, his crosses are incredible. They're always in the right area. They're always on point. So seeing it from the other wing is going to be great to see, and how he can improve Sessegnon, because we've heard Sessegnon has been listening to him and learning from him. And this will be the first time we're actually going to see them play together, isn't it? Because they're normally competing for the same spot. Longley's got a lot of responsibilities today, a lot being that ball-playing midfielder. And then we're going to see the threat. I'm delighted to see Kulusevski, and I think Kulusevski will grab this. You won't see him dropped again. Yeah. But it's going to be the first time where we see Richarlison on the left from the get-go with those two. So that's interesting. And I've been saying for a while now that I wouldn't mind seeing Bentancur and Højbjerg split up, because I think there may be the key for the creativity. But it could be Perisic to the right wing back, Sessegnon on the left, because then we've got the two attacking wing backs where the creativity needs to come. So that could be the key to unlock everything today. So like I said before, I'm very, very, very excited to see that partnership.
I think Kulusevski is the key for this front three clicking today, in my opinion. I think when you've looked at it the last few weeks, it's been one touch around the corner stuff, people being offside an awful lot, and it just has not been clicking. I think Kulusevski coming in will bring that bit of calm, that bit of hold-up play, get people turned and stuff. So I think he'll also have a point to prove. You remember last season he was dropped at this against Leicester at home, and he came off the bench and absolutely ran riot. And I think today he's going to do the same. I think you'll see plenty of chances created by this kid. I think he'll have the rocket up his arse. Kane also loves goals against Leicester. He's got 19 goals in 18 games against Leicester across all competitions, 17 of them coming in the Premier League. So it's just tradition that Harry Kane scores against Leicester. So I think you'll see that tradition play out today. Richarlison and Sessegnon, I'll be honest, I'm a bit worried down that side. I don't think the Sessegnon is best at going forward at times. I think he's very predictable. If you show him back on his right foot, he can't use it to cross. I'm worried that if Richarlison tries to play the one touch with him, how will it come off? I'm not so sure. Look, in the centre midfield, I get why Højbjerg and Bentancur are out there. If I'm being brutally honest, Bissouma had a point to prove coming to this club. He played against Roma in a preseason game close to the season. Didn't do anywhere near enough to say, I should start in your midfield. He played against West Ham when Bentancur was out injured. Didn't do anywhere near enough. And in fact, I thought he was awful that game to prove that he should dislodge Bentancur and Højbjerg. So I think it's more on him when he does get another chance and hopefully gets minutes today off the bench to prove why he should be in that midfield. But all round, I think we will beat Leicester today. I'm very, very confident, if I'm being honest. I do think they'll score goals. I do think they'll create chances. But I also think with the performance we've been putting in late, it's only a matter of time that our front three click together and we explode and we start dusting teams off. And I think today could be that day, in my opinion. So I'm very, very excited for this game. I really am. But look, let's talk about Jed Spence quickly, and not anywhere near the squad today, Shawnee.
Yeah, it's a strange one, isn't it? It's a really strange one, especially given the fact that there's no left wing back that can come in if something happens. You would have thought they would have included Jed Spence alongside Matt Doherty so that you have an option for both, and you don't necessarily have to change the formation. Like if Perisic is playing well, if Perisic and Decky are doing well down the right hand side, but something happens to Sessegnon, then maybe you bring on Matt Doherty and put him. Even though I don't support that position at all, but you could make that choice, or you could put Perisic over there. But the fact that we don't have two recognised wing backs on the pitch and on the bench is a strange one to me. I don't know who's got the nod. I forget the team on the bench, but listen, I honestly don't understand it. It doesn't really make sense to me. He must be seeing something that we don't, or he's trying to prove a point or make a point to certain people. But it's not. It doesn't sit right with me. I think that Jed Spence would have been a great guy to have had on the pitch, especially given, last thing I'll say, especially given the fact that in the press conference just 2 days ago, he said that Doherty's not ready and that he'll come back from the international duty and then he'll be fit. If that's the case, if Matt Doherty is just taking up a space on the bench, then he must think so little of Jed Spence to not include him and to also have a second option, a left wing back. Then to me, it's concerning, but I trust him. He must know something that we don't know, but just on paper, it doesn't add up to me.
I just hope the kid keeps his head now and keeps working hard. But Kavkov Gaming says that Bissouma take, it's ridiculous. He needs game time. Look, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, but I mean, he's not playing. Is it really that ridiculous? Did he take his chance against West Ham? And I will also say, and let me get this wrong, I'm not shitting on Bissouma. I think he's a good player. I think, once he clicks, once he gets it right, I think he can very easily become our best midfielder. But I'll also say to you about this game time. I remember Harry Winks in the press conference this morning, I need a run of games. Look where he ended up. When you come to a club like Tottenham and at an elite level, at the elite level of the sport, you don't get game time just handed to you. You have to grasp the tactics quickly. You have to take every opportunity, every minute given to you. You have to prove why you deserve from going from 10 minutes to 20 minutes to half an hour to starting the game. It's up to you to do that, nobody else. So look, you may think it's ridiculous, but I think I have methods to what I'm saying. But look, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. But let me know what you think off the back of what I said there. But anyway, we'll keep moving. Daigle, quick thoughts on this, my man.
Okay, well, first of all, let me just address something, because during the lad's cyber attack, I've lost my moderator skills. There's a lot of smack talk getting spoken in the chat, all centering around Heung-min Son, as you would expect.
Yeah, I've
because
seen
he's
one
been
or two
dropped.
of them.
Listen, I've got to let people know, no matter where you are in the world, everyone loves Heung-min Son.
Yeah.
Everyone.
We all love Sonny. We all love
all
Sonny.
love him. The fact that he's been dropped, rested, rotated, is what happens with football. It's what happens. Okay, so it may be the right decision, it may be the wrong decision, but for people to lose their shit over it and attack people, calm the fuck down. It's a game of football. These guys are human beings, not machines, and everyone is going to have to miss a game somewhere. It's called squad rotation. It's how the big boys win their trophies. Because what do? They rotate. And what do they win? Trophies. We don't rotate. And what do? Do nothing. Do nothing and just get happy. Oh, we're in the top four. Hey. We want trophies. And the way you get trophies is by squad rotation. It's been proven with all the big clubs. So people just calm down. Now I'll go on to Jed Spence. I'll go from one rant to another. Well, when it comes to Jed Spence, as much as we want to see him, as much as we think the potential is there, it's very, very clear where this all goes back to, don't we? We all know where this leads back. We all know what he said when he came out and he was bought. And I think this is clearly showing, not only is he not being picked, like Sean said, like we said on Straight Out Conte, it's like he's not there. It's like he's done a disappearing act because he won't acknowledge him. He won't pick him. He won't play him.
Up, isn't it? Something's up, Brian.
Something's up, and it's a clear message to that person upstairs saying, this is what I think. I wanted whatever he wanted, A, B, C, whatever. I didn't want this player, and you've given him to me. So guess what I can do as a manager? Whether that's stubbornness and hurting the team, we'll never know. But there is a clear shot being sent to a certain person upstairs, whether you like it or not.
Or maybe he's just not ready.
You know? It could be that. But if you think about it, he came on against Notts Forest. He's been on the bench. But the very fact, like you said, Sean, and as people picked up on, like Alistair Gold and everything, he just fails to acknowledge him. When you're talking about that right wing back position, and he names every single player, apart from one that was bought to play that position, then you're like, hello, not to even acknowledge him. There is a clear warning shot. There is a clear warning shot there. But I think I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see what he's got in the next couple of years. I don't think he's ready for now. When we signed him, I wanted us to get another experienced right back, like a Dumfries, so he could learn off him. If we'd brought another right back in or right wing back, then this would have made sense. But he clearly isn't ready, and he clearly doesn't want him. So we'll have to see where it goes.
Can I just say, guys, I think Conte's not a manager that really goes with the rookie player, with the young, raw player. Like, if you look at that team, apart from Cess, which is his hands are probably tied because Perisic is on the right, he's had to go with him. I think he goes with the senior player. I think he goes with the sort of the maturer player, the ones that's played 100 games. I think these younger players are not Conte's bag. I don't think he's a young player manager, guys, to be honest with you. I don't think he's just going to throw them in. I think he's going to look for characters. He's going to look for them to grow as men. I think he's going to want them to prove in training they can work the system. Basuma's probably an example. Probably he's not doing it in training enough. And the character of Basuma has been questioned. The character of Spence has been questioned, wrong or right. And I think Conte takes his time with these sort of players, and he only goes with a safe bet rather than the rookies. So I think we'll just have to get used to this. I don't think he's going to change overnight. And I think we're going to have to get used to seeing Spence on the bench. Brian Hill's another young, inexperienced player. So I think that's just the Conte way, guys. I'm not sure it's too personal. I think that's just the way he is and the way he manages his squads.
Fair. John Tanner with the 10,000 Korean dollars, my man, or won. I think it is Korean won. I think. I don't see another comment after. I do. He says, let's be honest, no one really talked about dropping Kane after a month of his off performance last year. I'll take this just quickly. They were talking about it for 3-4 months, my man. I'm Harry Kane's #1 fan, and everyone came to me saying, drop Kane. You know, drop him for Bergwijn because Bergwijn has more pace I mean, I didn't realise it was an athletics club we were running. But at the end of the day, we stuck by Kane and we got our rewards. I don't agree with dropping Sonny today or resting him. I think he should have started, my man. But look, at the end of the day, it was a long time coming. I think he should have been given today, but you can't disagree that it was a long time coming. But I do think he should have played, John. But look, Kane did get as well. I mean, it was everywhere, absolutely everywhere. People were slating Kane and more harsher, I believe, than what they were with Sonny. But big up, John Tanner. Really appreciate the support, my man. Not a bad talking point. But look, guys, we're going to wrap it up here. So we're going to go around, let everyone give their score prediction and give it a plug on their channel. I'm going to start dropping the links in. So I will, guys. Mine is in there. If anyone wants to get over to the Irish Hotspur and smash that subscribe button, at the end of the day, you should smash it for every single one of us. Even if you don't like us, you don't want to watch us, we're Spurs fans, and you should just at least show that subscribe button, and then you can put me on mute after that. Shawnee, where can people find you, my man?
Yeah, Dave, you can find me at Spurs Talk Show, guys. At Spurs Talk Show on YouTube, on Instagram, and Twitter. Basically do everything that everyone else does. Lots of different. I take my dog out for walks and talk about Tottenham during the morning. You get an upload every day, and then you also get sometimes live watch-alongs. Not today. I'm doing it with the Irish Hotspur, but on top of that, lots of panel shows, preview, reviews, all that other nonsense. I love you all. Come and smash some subscribes to me and also to Tottenham on Tour, the Spurs debate, and also, of course, the Irish Hotspur. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you listening to us.
I appreciate you guys, and the link is in there for Spurs Talk Show. Anyone that wants to get over, Daigle. Sean, did you give your score prediction?
Oh, no, sorry. I'm going to go for 4-1.
Love it. 4-1. He's feeling it. I love it. That's why he's on the watch along today, because he's feeling it. Another one bites the dust. That's what's going to happen today. But Daigle, I mean, where can people find you on your channel? What's your score prediction?
They can find me, Danny Kiriakou and Brian Ireland and Ben Kaufman at Tottenham on Tour. We're still on the push for 5,000 subs. We're getting closer and closer by the day. We haven't been able to put a lot of our own content out recently because of all things going on with us personally. But we were up and running again on, what day is it? Thursday. And we'll be back up and running as normal this week as well. So looking forward to it. We're looking forward to get some of our own content out. So you will find us at Tottenham on Tour.
Now, there you are, guys. Again, here is the link. I'll flash up on screen. It is in the chat for anyone that wants to get over and smash that subscribe button. Like I've already said, you should be subscribed.
I didn't give my prediction. Prediction. I'm going 3-0. Sean's gone Bob Spur. I'm going 3-0. So the same kind of margin, but I'm going for that clean sheet.
Love it. You've confidence today in the clean sheet, more confidence than what I do anyway. But Joshy boy, I mean, where can people find you, my man?
Spurs Debate TV, guys. It says it down there next to my name. Come on the channel, subscribe. It's lots of content from around the net, Tottenham related content, so a little bit different. But yeah, we pretty much stick everything out that comes online pretty quickly. So come and have a look at that if you're short for time and you just need a quick, snappy kind of content on Spurs. In terms of the scoreline, I'm going to go. Brian, you got the shirt on, haven't you? By the looks of it, so that's 3 points. All right, you've gone for a clean sheet.
Where's the stain?
Clean shirt. Huh?
Where's the stain?
Sorry, Josh.
That's all right.
It's not even that bad. It's not even worth mentioning. I wear shit with worse than that all day long, every day, and they get washed every afternoon.
mate, it hasn't been washed since the Liverpool game.
I'd be more worried about the smell.
No, mate, it's got about 58 different aftershaves on it. I feel like I'm going out on the pool every single time I wear this shirt.
But Josh, did we get your score prediction, mate?
Sorry, Josh.
Yeah, look, I mean, mate, I don't want to give him I want to give us a clean sheet, but Sanchez worries me. So screw it. I'll give them a goal, and I'm gonna go Richie hat-trick. I'm going for a Richarlison hat-trick.
Wow.
Yeah, man. I think the Perisic Kulu combo is gonna help Richie today, guys. So I think Son might be sitting on that bench for a bit longer after today's performance. But up the Spurs, man.
Up the Spurs. Love everyone. Get over, check out Spurs Debate TV. And then here's the link for the Irish Hotspur. On the road to 10K. Get over there, smash the subscribe button. Why not? What have you got to lose? For me, I'm gonna go 4-2. I'm gonna go 4-2, in my opinion. I do think we'll probably concede a couple of goals today. Leicester, like I said, they can score goals, but they ship them at the other end. I'm going with Big H to score a brace, Kulu to score one, and I think Sonny to come off the bench and get one as well. But guys, it's been a pleasure, keeping all you guys out there entertained until the match starts. Kickoff will be happening in about 25 minutes' time. So I'm going to end off now and let the guys take over for the watch along. And I'll see you back here after the international
guys,
break.
you know what time it is. It's
hopefully,
your boy Jack
all of
here
you
at
guys
the Irish
have
Hotspur,
fun, but we are out.
For
See you
hopefully what
later.
is going to be an absolute spanking.
Hello, Jack.
Oh, no, I don't know. Something's gone on. But look, we are going to end it off, guys, and I will see you all very, very soon. As always,
Jack.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs. Come on.
Bye, Jack.
Just remember what I said. Dun, 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 dun. Another one bites the dust. It's happening today. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.